Okay, folks, here I go again, Barry Bonds, the host of LockerTalk podcast. And this week, we're going to still talk about our undrafted matchups to watch out for. Here we go, week 13 of the National Football League. Not a lot of head-to-head matchups with undrafted players to watch out for because several teams are on their bye. But we do have a couple of matchups and also some players to watch out for week 13. So here we go, starting with the Los Angeles Chargers and the New England Patriots. In this game, we'll talk about Austin Ekeler. Austin Ekeler's not having what I consider his big-time season like he's used to having in the past, but he's starting to click and show some signs of him ready to explode at any minute now. And hopefully this is the weekend when he'll explode because the Chargers definitely need him to be able to have one of those impact games as his team continue to try to fight for a playoff spot. One of the things we want to watch out for with Austin Ekeler is that he is looking for his 6th game in a row to have at least 60-plus scrimmage yards. He had 124 scrimmage yards, 64 rushing, 60 receiving, and a rushing touchdown in the last meeting when they had faced the New England Patriots. Now he's looking for his 5th game in a row versus an AFC East team with a touchdown. He needs 72 rushing yards for his 6th straight season of having at least 500-plus rushing yards. Hopefully he'll get it, and line up against him is an old former teammate, talking about defensive back C.J. Jackson, who had a season high in tackles and a pass defense last week for week 13. He had a pass defense in 3 of the past 4 games this season. This is a little better, or at least peaking to do better than what he did last year when he was a member with the Chargers, where he had 5 passes defense in 7 games. So we're looking forward to seeing if these two players will clash on the field. Both teams definitely need their undrafted superstars to shine so these teams can actually have an opportunity to win. Another matchup to watch out for is the Indianapolis Colts and the Tennessee Titans. Now, for the past couple of years, you heard me talk about this particular matchup between Kenny Moore II going against Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, wide receiver for the Titans. These two players don't necessarily, I would say, just mirror in every play on every down, every snap. But you will see these guys match up, especially on 3rd down, because that's when Westbrook-Ikhine really showed his skill set for the Titans, as he is one of those wide receivers that can actually be relied on in 3rd down situations. So this is where you'll see these two guys will clash during this matchup like times past. Kenny Moore had at least 6+ tackles 7 times out of the past 8 games he played this season, and he had 9 tackles in week 5 and a sack when he was on his last road trip. What's going to give? Will he get another touchdown, or will Kenny Moore continue to make these stops? So that's what you have there as far as with the matchups when we're dealing with the undrafted players. Now we're going to focus on what some undrafted players to watch out for this week, starting with the Denver Broncos linebacker Alex Singleton. Alex Singleton has had himself a phenomenal season for the Broncos and for the Broncos resurging. And of course, we know that Russell Wilson plays a real big role for the Broncos' success. But on that defense side of the ball, Alex Singleton is playing a major role for the Broncos as well. Like, for instance, last week, Alex Singleton had 10+ tackles, a fumble recovery, and a pass defense. And that was his 8th game where he had at least 10 tackles or more, which is tied most in the NFL. He also had a fumble recovery 2 out of the past 3 games that he played, and in his last matchup against the Houston Texans, who they will face this week, he had 5 tackles and 2 passes defense. Watch out for number 49 for the Denver Broncos. He's going to bring the heat, and he's going to do something to help that team continue to win on this hot streak as they are fighting for a playoff spot. And we're going to stay at home with the New Orleans Saints, where I call Mr. Everything, Taysom Hill. He had a career high 81 scrimmage yards, 55 receiving, 26 on the ground last week, and has at least 50+ scrimmage yards out of 5 out of the past 6 games. Taysom Hill had 50+ scrimmage yards. Now he's aiming for his 3rd in a row at home with 60+ scrimmage yards. Just like Austin Ekeler, we looking for Taysom Hill to have an explosion where he can help his team get to the next level as they are still slightly in the playoff hunt. Looking forward to seeing what Taysom Hill going to do this week. And his teammate, defensive end, Carl Granderson, he actually led the team for a career high in tackles with 10 last week. and he is one of the two defensive linemen matched up with Max Crosby for the Las Vegas Raiders with at least 50 plus tackles and 10 plus tackles for a loss. This is a career season for Granderson. Let's see if he continue to make this even a better career year for himself. Now we're going to talk about Jalen Warren, running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers as they go up against the Arizona Cardinals. He had 62 scrimmage yards, 49 on the ground, 12 in the air last week. He also has 110 plus scrimmage yards out of 3 of the past 4 games, and had a rushing touchdown 2 times out of the past 3 games. He has 75 plus scrimmage yards out of the past 5 games at home, and now he's looking to make sure, along with his partner and his teammate, that he continue to carry the load, and as he is actually having close to 700 rushing yards for the season. So watch out for Jalen Warren, one of the best undrafted players in the league, and he's really shown it this season. Now we're going to go with the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins, you hear me talk about Raheem Mostert all season long. He led the team with 94 rushing yards and 2 rushing attacks for touchdowns last week. 4th game this season, he had at least 2 rushing touchdowns in 1 game, which is the most in the NFL. Yes, from an undrafted player. I love it. Don't you guys love it? Also, he's aiming for his 4th in a row with having at least 85 scrimmage yards, and he rushed for a touchdown 3 out of the past 4 games, and each of those past games were on the road. He leads the NFL with 13 rushing touchdowns, 4th most ever in a single season in Miami Dolphins history. That against the Commanders, he should get in the end zone one more time against this squad. Don't you agree? I think so too. All right, almost coming to the end. Carolina Panthers going against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Adam Thielen has been a rock for this team all season, the only model of consistency that the Carolina Panthers is showing this year. He had 42 receptions for 423 yards and 3 touchdowns on 6 of his road games this season, including 6 plus catches in 4 out of the past 5 games on the road. He leads the team with 77 receptions and 728 receiving yards. His 5th career season with at least 70 catches, and also 700 receiving yards. Definitely watch out for what this man can continue to do for the Carolina Panthers this season. And also his teammate, linebacker, Frenny Lovo, he had 13 tackles and 3 tackles for a loss and a sack the last time he met against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's watch out what 49 is going to continue to do on the field for the Panthers. So folks, here we go. That's week 13 of the NFL. We're watching out for what these undrafted stars are going to do in the league. Make sure you guys tune in next week so I can tell you what these guys did and also some other matchups to look forward to for week 14. Everyone stay blessed. Let's get to some football. Let's go. All right.